There are people in Washington who want to raise Social Security's full retirement age to 70. Yes, you've heard me right. There are folks, people, politicians in D.C. who want to raise Social Security's full retirement age to 70. Maybe you've already heard this. Maybe you've seen a news clip on television. Maybe you've read an article online, and maybe you've seen a politician talking about it on an interview show saying, yeah, we want to raise retirement age to 70. Now, these are folks who likely never worked a 9-to-5 job in their life. And these are folks who I doubt ever spent 8 to 10 hours working on an assembly line. And these are people who probably never once sat at a kitchen table and tried to figure out how they were going to stretch their budget so they could buy food or pay their bills. Yeah, these are the same folks, the same people, the same politicians who want to raise Social Security's full retirement age to 70. Needless to say, this is a horrible idea. It's horrible, especially for those folks who've been nearing retirement. Maybe they've been counting down the days, the hours, the minutes, and saying, yeah, you know what, I'm going to be retiring soon. I'm going to be able to leave this job, and I'll be able to retire. Well, after this break, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you one very big reason why raising Social Security's full retirement age to 70 could impact your retirement if you're somebody who is counting down the days, who's counting on the days to when you can retire. That's all up next right here on Over 50 TV. Welcome back to Over 50 TV. My name is Lou Reyes. In this video, as I said, we're going to be talking about the push to raise the minimum retirement age to 70. And I'll say this, if the group in Washington, if they get their way, if they raise Social Security's full retirement age to 70, it's going to have a devastating impact on millions of people who are hoping, planning, dreaming, maybe even praying that they're going to be able to retire at the age of 65 or maybe 66 and a half, 67 years old. Yeah, they'll get full retirement. They'll get their full benefits and they can retire. Yeah, it's going to have a devastating impact on those folks because now they're going to have to wait at least another 3 years. And as I'm going to outline in this video, that 3 more years, that additional 3 years could have a huge impact on their life. Now, yeah, there are reasons that are obvious to you and me and why this strategy, why this push is a horrible idea. And there are studies that show that this will hurt retirees in the short run and in the long run. This group, I believe these politicians are just kicking the can down the road. They're not looking at a long-term solution. When a long-term solution is needed, they're putting a Band-Aid or trying to put a Band-Aid on this problem. The problem that says Social Security will go insolvent. They're not looking at solving this issue. They're kicking the can down the road, and what they're also doing is they're taking care of people, protecting people who have the fat wallets, and I'm going to be talking about that point in just a few minutes. What I want to do is help you to understand why raising that full retirement age, it could really crush your retirement dream if you're somebody who is looking at retiring in just a few years. So let me go ahead and let me just outline for you by sharing some cold hard facts about why it's just a horrible idea. Now, also, I want to say this. At the end of this video, what I'll do is I'll tell you how you can get out front of this problem, how you can overcome this potentially horrible problem that can impact your finances. So let me just say this. Studies show that 56% of workers who hit the age of 50 are pushed out of their job, and they're pushed out of their job because of their age, and that's the reason they lose their job. They're pushed out, they're thrown out, they're kicked out because of their age. So before they even get a chance to retire, they get pushed out of that job. They have no job. And you know what else? When they get pushed out of that job, they're going to try to find another job. Well, there are studies that show it takes older people longer to find a new job, if they find one at all. It takes them a lot longer than it takes somebody who's younger. You know, I've had people write me here at Over 50 TV and say, Lou, I've sent out hundreds of resumes and I get nothing. I get crickets. I get nobody calling me and offering me to even come in for an interview. I get no interviews. Nobody wants me. Nobody wants to talk to me. Lou, no one. So here's the problem. If you can't get a job and you were near retirement, how's raising that retirement bar going to help you? Because you were counting on getting that retirement. You were counting on it coming. But here's the real dagger. Here's the real dagger in your heart. The real dagger, my friend, is this. Only 1 out of 10 people who retire, only 1 out of 10 people who lose that job, who are pushed out because of their age, only 1 out of 10 ever again earn as much money as they earned prior to being pushed out of that job, out of their job. So now, not only is there a 56% chance that you can lose that job, lose your job, a job that you weren't thinking you were going to get pushed out of. You're going to get pushed out of that job because of your age. Not only is it going to take you longer to find a new job if you can find one, but there's a good chance, a 90% chance that you will not make as much money as you made prior to being kicked out of your job. That's going to impact your Social Security, no question about it. So how in the world is raising the retirement age good for people who are near their current retirement age and they lose their job? It's not good. It's not good for anyone. It is horrible. You know, all along, you've been thinking, my guess is you've been thinking, hey, man, I'm going to get my full retirement benefit from Social Security, and then I'll do something on the side to make some extra money. Maybe I'll go work at a Target and make that $15 an hour, $15 an hour, working part-time. You were thinking that. You've been thinking that. You've been planning it. You've been hoping that because you've been thinking, hey, I'm going to get retirement at 65 or 66, whatever that would be for you. But that $15 an hour, that's hardly going to put a bowl of cereal and a glass of milk on your table, right? Let alone maybe even a dozen eggs, buying some eggs. It's not going to help. So yeah, raising that retirement age makes no sense whatsoever for many of us out there, for anybody out there. And on top of all this, on top of losing your job because of ageism, there is data, real data. And I'm going to put a link to an article in the description box of this video that's going to show you there is data that says if they raise the retirement age, if those people in D.C. raise the retirement age to 70, you're going to lose 20% of your retirement income. And that's income that you would have received if the boys and the girls in D.C. and Washington didn't raise the retirement age. It's a damn shame. It is a damn shame what's going on in D.C. trying to solve this insolvency issue that is not going to be solved by any strategy that they have, that they're using. It's all because of mismanagement, or let's just say no management. These are folks who want to protect their political careers, and they're just trying to come up with a solution. They want us all to, hey, just work longer. That's what I've heard them say. Some of them have said, hey, you should just work longer. They're not thinking that maybe some folks can't work longer because they have physical disabilities, or maybe they have personal issues, or maybe they lose their job and they can't find another job. But just work longer is what they're saying. All they're wanting to do is nothing. That's bottom line. That's what it's all about. They want to keep their job, get elected, and tell people what they think they want to hear. But you know what? You're not hearing the truth. They're not telling you the truth. Maybe they don't even know the truth. That would be even sadder still, wouldn't it? You're not even hearing, they're not telling you what the data shows, and like I said, maybe they don't even know. They're not telling you that in all likelihood, if you're over 50, you could lose your job because of your age. And they're not telling you that in all likelihood, it will take you longer to find a new job. They're not telling you that 90% of you out there won't make as much money. You won't earn as much as you earned prior to being pushed out of that job. I've said this, but they don't know it, or they're not saying it, or they're not admitting it. This makes no sense. And there are lots of reasons it makes no sense to raise the retirement age to 70. If they cared about you and me, what they would do is raise taxes on people who aren't paying Social Security, who are earning money. And I'm talking about the people who are earning over $168,600 a year. They don't pay taxes, Social Security taxes, on anything above that amount. These are privileged folks who don't pay Social Security tax on any money they earned above $168,600 a year. Let's say it again. They don't pay any taxes on any money they earn above $168,600 a year. Now, at the beginning of this video, I promised I'd tell you how to get ahead of this horrible idea. You may not want to hear this one, but the number one the number one suggestion I've got for you is to save. Now, you may say, Lou, it's impossible for me to save. You can say it's impossible. But you know what? You got to make the impossible possible, because the possible is that if you don't save, you are going to experience a shortfall in your retirement, my friend. You don't have a choice. Now, the other thing you could do, something that I've recommended for a long time, I do myself, is invest in the S&P 500. Now, the average yearly return, what I know, and I looked this up right before I got on this video, the average yearly return of that index is 10.47% over the last 30 years, and that's as of the end of April 2024. S&P 500, I don't make any money by recommending that. I'm not even recommending it to you. You're going to have to look it up for yourself and see if it's good for you. But invest money, save and invest. You've got to do it. Make that impossible possible. Also, I'm going to say this, and this may ruffle a little feathers out there, a few feathers out there, but join a group that really cares about you. And in my mind, it's not AARP. Now, I know there are a lot of you out there who are going to say, well, Lou, I get these benefits. I get benefits. I can go to a restaurant. I get a discount. And I get that insurance. And yeah, maybe you do get some discounts. And maybe it is good for some of you. But more likely, you're going to get a lot of mail that's going to sell you on buying their insurance. Now, if you love AARP, that's up to you. That is totally up to you. But I want to hear what AARP is doing to help avoid the Social Security crisis that millions of people near retirement are about to get into. And if you disagree with me, that's fine. It's up to you. But if you want to know what's really going on with AARP, check out my video. I've got a video, AARP, the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'll put a link to it in the description box. You can check it out for yourself and make your own decision. But yeah, keep your little benefits that you get from AARP, but I don't want to hear about the benefits. I want to hear what they're doing, what they're really doing to help people retire with an income, with dignity. Now, another thing that I'm always going to recommend is you can go ahead and consider starting a side hustle. And I talk about this all the time. It's a reason I launched another YouTube channel called Side Hustle Rules, because I want to help people learn how to start a side hustle. I also have a Patreon page where I go deeper into helping folks start a side hustle. That's 2 levels on my Patreon page. You can do it for free. You can get on there for free. I'm not charging. There is a fee to a more robust Patreon page that I have. But the decision to do that, to buy that, to pay that, that's up to you. But the idea that I present, is to take control of your future, not let some politician or some bureaucrat control your future. And I know there are a lot of folks out there who are going to say, man, Lou, I don't want to do a side hustle. Well, then my suggestion is to learn a new skill, and a new skill that won't quickly be obsolete. I love AI. I study AI. I use AI in my business. It works for me. AI is going to be around a long time. Learn about AI. Learn that skill. A skill that makes you invulnerable to the whims of some company HR manager that's going to lay you off because you hit 50. Learn a skill that's in demand, my friends. So to sum this up, raising Social Security's full retirement age to 70 isn't going to help anyone. Certainly not the working folks. Certainly not people like you and me. The solution is to tax people who aren't being taxed. The solution is to save and invest. The solution is to start a side hustle or a side business. The solution is to join a group that sincerely cares about you. If you've got any questions, feel free to make a comment. Feel free to send me your questions. And I'll tell you this, I'll do my best to answer, to get back to you. I get hundreds and hundreds a week. I wanted to say a day, but I get hundreds a week, no question. And I get back to people as fast as I can. Sometimes I can only get back to you with a few words, maybe a sentence or two. But I do get back to folks as fast as possible. So I will say this again. If you have any questions, get back to me. If you disagree, I'd like to hear that too. But I will say this, raising the retirement age for full Social Security benefits, it's ridiculous. It's totally ridiculous. That's all I got for you, my friends. As I always say, have a great day, everybody.